There are 6 historical milestones leading to the modern diet. While I describe these milestones, you'll start to see how milestones have contributed to the disconnect with our current planet today. Let's talk about how we moved so far away from the nutrient-dense whole foods diet. Approximately 12,000 years ago, people commonly wandered into the wilderness to hunt and or gather their own meals. This is what you would call the hunter-gatherer. At this time, there were no processed foods or farms to get fresh produce from until the agricultural revolution. But this didn't just take place at one given moment in time. As agriculture was and is still a growing process, people start growing and raising food in one place versus following and finding food wherever, making people dependent on agriculture. This came at a high cost. This meant fewer nutrients, leading to soil degradation, which eventually sped up rapid bone loss, making disease highly possible. That also led to the hierarchies and even genocide. Let's fast forward to the 1600s, where this is the introduction of refined sugar, which essentially meant introduction of processed foods. These diets changed immensely, considering humans went from eating a few pounds of sugar per person per year to somewhere between 150 to 200 pounds annually. Because sugar is so highly processed, it created an opportunity for chronic disease. A few hundred years later, introduces the Industrial Revolution, often described as a knockout punch of the historical milestones. This was not only affecting how we eat, but also how we live, work, and use our bodies. The 1800s machinery began to replace the physical work of humans and animals, which greatly increased industrial output, making people focus more on faster processed food, less on gathering nutrient whole food. This led to the rise of big foods. Kellogg, Nestle, and Coca-Cola all began in the later 18th century. Physician John Harvey Kellogg discovered a way to transform wheat into flake cereal by steaming and rolling them. Even though these physicians had good intentions, and their motivation was to help feed the world, more and more processed carbs and sugary foods made their ways into human diets. Substances our body are not equipped to digest, making the consumer addicted and begging for more and more sugars. As boxed food continued to dominate the major components of food, World War II was going on. This process is also known as the chemical revolution. Of all the revolutions, this is arguably has the most effects on our modern food supply. Most foods bought or made were preserved. Many people did not realize crackers or granola bars were military inventions derived from and to feed soldiers in battle, along with the introduction to margarine and hydrogenated oils as they preserved and last longer. Chemical components originally used to produce bombs and nerve gas were eventually repurposed for fertilizer and pesticides on farms. Bottom line, food was cheap, easy, and made to be affordable. This leads me to our last and current milestone, the digital revolution. The technological revolution has sent a rapid shift from mechanical to technologically advanced computers, processing food in factories. As we have evolved in electronics, sitting for several hours to work on a computer eliminates other human abilities, which leads to oversitting, resulting in boredom, with less and less time to prepare whole, rich foods. This lifestyle has negatively affected our posture, in the way we move, and affecting our ability to digest and absorb the nutrients we need to thrive.